Alright, welcome in everybody to the BMC Collectibles Breaks. I'm B. Today we've got one case of 2024 Elite in the Game Used Multisport that we're going to be getting into. While we get started, feel free to like and subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram, bmc.collectibles, and save us as a seller on eBay. That'll make it that much easier to get back to us for more breaks. And let you know when we go live and if you're live. Also need to mention no purchase necessary for link down in the description. Is this the break for in the game used? It is. You're in the right spot, my friend. All right, box number one. Devin Booker, 11/60. James Harden, 5/5. LeBron James, 2/20. Quad patch, Robin Roberts, Don Drysdale, Bob Gibson, and Juan Marichal, 23/40. And dual auto, 1/7. George Brett and a Robin Yount. Nice. For those of you whose first time it is seeing this product, there will be a lot of randoms at the end. Probably somewhere between 10 and 15. Box number two. Carlton Fisk, 36/50. Willie McGee, 7/60. Dizzy Dean, 14/25. That's nice. Triple patch, Karl-Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, 13/40. And Carlos Alcaraz. Boom. 16/25. We will take that. Congratulations on that hit. This time last week he was putting on a masterclass. Walter Payton, 2/3. Dennis Rodman, 14/25. Once upon a time in Detroit. Bat patch for Al Oliver, 6/6. Sam Perkins, 28/30. And 5/7. Anthony Edwards. Boom. Box number four. Ja Morant. It's like a shoe patch. 46/60. Shaq, 28/40. Octo patch, 3/7. John Stockton, Steve Nash, Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Chris Paul, Tim Hardaway, Tony Parker, and Jason Kidd. Once upon a time in Boston, 2/3. Paul Pierce. And Damian Lillard, 2/7. Patch auto. Box number five. Messi, 42/60. Willie Mays here, 6/15. The Town, Octo patch. Dallas, 11/30. Roger Staubach, Nolan Ryan, Emmitt Smith. Great patch on Emmitt. Troy Aikman, Dirk Nowitzki, Mike Modano, Ivan Rodriguez, and Luka Doncic. (16/35), Tyreek Hill. And once upon a time in Detroit, Dennis Rodman, 16/25. Rodrigo, 31 of 35. LeBron James, 11 of 30. Sextuple, 4 of 15. Antoine Jameson, James Harden, Scottie Pippen, David Robinson, Mitch Richmond, and Sean Marion. Patch auto, 1 of 25 for Earl Campbell. And, ooh, that's nice. Patch auto, 1 of 6 for Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Boom. That's great. Box number 7, Andrew Luck, 43 of 60. Luka, 3 of 40. The Town, San Fran, 3 of 25. Willie Mays, Steph Curry, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Joe Montana, Willie McCovey, Barry Bonds, and Buster Posey. Kevin Durant, 10 of 20, patch auto. And Dylan Cruz, 7 of 7. Box number 8, Tony Gwynn, 18 of 60. Dual patch, Muhammad Ali and Hank Aaron, 7 of 20. That's sick. Jerry Stackhouse, 3 of 3. Tyler Hero, 6 of 7, patch auto. Get that boy away from a podcast, Mike. And Jalen Milroe, 11 of 25. Box number 9. Grant Hill, 28 of 60. 1 of 5. Walt Alston and Chuck Dressen. Octo patch. Cristiano Ronaldo, Angel Di Maria, John Stones, Heung-min Son, Mo Salah, Alejandro Garnacho, Jack Grealish, and Phil Foden, 22 of 35. Joe Montana, 2 of 6. Galaxy Stars. And 2 of 4. Patch auto, Luka Modric. What a patch on that. Boom. And finally, box number 10. Good luck, everybody. After this, we'll do a hit recap and then take care of the billion randoms. That is rounding up a little bit. Jason Tatum, 55 out of 60. Steve Nash, 27 of 50. Quad patch, Shaq, Alonzo Mourning, Christian Laettner, and Tom Gugliotta, 4 of 4. Rafael Nadal, 13 of 35. And quad, oh no, sextuple patch auto, 4 of 5. Frank Thomas, Mark McGuire, Jeff Bagwell, Fred McGriff, David Ortiz, and Jack Clark. Boom. All right. Go ahead and get a hit recap going here in just a second. All right, for the hits, Devin Booker, James Harden, LeBron James, Carlton Fisk, Willie McGee, Dizzy Dean, Carlos Alcaraz, Walter Payton, Dennis Rodman, Al Oliver, Sam Perkins, Lionel Messi, Willie Mays, Tyreek Hill, Dennis Rodman, Rodrigo, LeBron James, Earl Campbell, Zlatan, Andrew Luck, Anthony Edwards, John Morant, Shaquille O'Neal, Paul Pierce, Damian Lillard, Luka Doncic, Kevin Durant, Dylan Cruz, Tony Glenn, Jerry Stackhouse, Tyler Hero, Jalen Milroe, Grant Hill, Joe Montana, Luka Modric, Jason Tatum, Steve Nash, Rafael Nadal. And for everything going to random.org, George Brett, Robin Yount out of 7. Chuck Dressen and Walt Alston. Muhammad Ali and Hank Aaron. Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, triple. Robin Roberts, Don Drysdale, Bob Gibson, Juan Marichal. Shaq, Alonzo Mourning, Christian Laettner, Tom Gugliotta. Antoine Jameson, James Harden, Scottie Pippen, David Robinson, Mitch Richmond, and Sean Marion. Frank Thomas, Mark McGuire, Jeff Bagwell, Fred McGriff, David Ortiz, and Jack Clark. John Stockton, Allen Iverson, Chris Paul, Tony Parker, Jason Kidd, Tim Hardaway, Stephon Marbury, and Steve Nash. Roger Staubach, Nolan Ryan, Emmett Smith, Troy Aikman, Dirk Nowitzki, Mike Modano, Ivan Rodriguez, and Luka Doncic. Willie Mays, Steph Curry, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Joe Montana, Willie McCovey, Barry Bonds, and Buster Posey. And Cristiano Ronaldo, Angel Di Maria, John Stones, Mo Salah, Jack Grealish, Youngman's son, Alejandro Garnacho, and Bill Bowden. Alright. That is it for us for today. Let's get random.org pulled up. And it'll take a few minutes to get all these typed up and good to go. Just stay tuned. We'll be back with you in a minute. For everybody else, thank you guys for being here and being part of the break. Look forward to seeing you back here. And I just realized that we have "and the good game." That's offensive and annoying. Alright, we've got random.org pulled up and good to go. Got to roll some dice. Got to be there how to be valid for us. We're going to go 9 times on every single random. Starting off with Walt Austin and Chuck Dressen. That is 8 times. 3 plus 6 is 9. Final roll. Walt Austin staying on top. Congratulations. Next up is Robin Young and George Brett dual auto. That is 8 times. Final roll. George Brett coming out on top. Congratulations. Muhammad Ali, Hank Aaron dual patch. That is 8 times. Final roll. Muhammad Ali staying on top. Congratulations on that. Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, and Luka Doncic triple patch. 8 times. Final roll. Joel Embiid taking it home. Robin Roberts, Don Drysdale, Bob Gibson, and Juan Marichal quad patch. That is 8 times. Final roll. Don Drysdale coming out on top. Shaquille O'Neal, Alonzo Mourning, Christian Laettner, and Tom Gugliotta quad patch. That is 8 times. Final roll. Alonzo Mourning coming out on top. Congratulations. Antoine Jameson, James Harden, Scottie Pippen, David Robinson, Mitch Richmond, and Sean Marion. That is 8 times. Final roll. Mitch Richmond coming out on top. Congratulations. Fred McGriff, David Ortiz, Jack Clark, Frank Thomas, Mark McGuire, and Jeff Bagwell. Sextuple patch auto. That is 8 times. Final roll. Frank Thomas coming out with the win. Congratulations. John Stockton, Steve Nash, Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Chris Paul, Tim Hardaway, Tony Parker, and Jason Kidd. Octet of patches. That is 8 times. Final roll. It is Steve Nash taking it home. Next up is Roger Staubach, Nolan Ryan, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Dirk Nowitzki, Mike Modano, Ivan Rodriguez, and Luka Doncic. The Town. Octet. That is 8 times. Final roll. Emmitt Smith coming out with the win. Congratulations. Next up is The Town for San Fran. Willie Mays, Steph Curry, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Joe Montana, Willie McCovey, Barry Bonds, and Buster Posey. That is 8 times. Final roll. Willie Mays coming out on top. Congratulations. And finally, Cristiano Ronaldo, Angel Di Maria, John Stones, Youngman's son, Mo Salah, Alejandro Garnacho, Jack Grealish, and Phil Foden. That is 8 times. Final roll. Phil Foden coming out on top for the first time in anything in his life. That will do it, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here and being part of the break. Really do appreciate you spending some of your Sunday with us. Look forward to having you guys back in here sometime in the very near future for some more multi-sport stuff. And this has been BMC Collectibles Breaks. Have a great rest of your weekend.